Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Ladies and gentlemen, how are we? It's Umineko time at a wonderful 8:39 p.m. December 10th, 2025. Anno Domini, I think. I think that means the year of our Lord. Oh yeah, it totally means that. I had a nice day. Taking it easy. Zoff. I have no water right now. I should have got some water before I started my stream, but here I am, waterless, trying to take my pills. Where's my... Okay. I don't really remember anything that happened last stream, I'm not gonna lie. I had to think about it. Some more feathering shit. There was more background about, like, the whole thing Beato's going through, where she was, like, combining... it was a short stream, so there wasn't too much that happened. Let's actually not do that. Let's actually not look through my computer files. Well, you'll see things such as baby's first emote, big Svard, and that's it. I was gonna look through my VOD, but I really need to get this whole capture thing fixed, but I just don't have any time. I am really busy, and I'm sure I'll remember. I mean, it was just like, oh, they were playing the games, like they were playing the quiz games. And Erica was being a dick about that, because Erica can't help but be a dick about anything. Oh, nope, I cannot swallow those magnesium pills. Those are total freaking horse pills. I cannot swallow them without water. Okay. I'll probably go for like an hour, then get water. But, elsewise, as you know, I'm sticking to my guns. I think Jessica is Beatrice. I just need to work out the specifics. Also, that whole thing about twins was interesting. I ended really early last stream. I was just beat from work. Gonna be not as cold as an open as usual, but whatever. I doubt people watch me for my comedy and or my talking skills. The logic of the witch side is quite interesting. It keeps me entertained. It does sound credible, in a way. When humans are frightened to hear that they've entered a ghost hotspot, they're likely to start yelling, "Ghost! Ghost!" at a drop of a hat. That's right. Oh, and they did the whole thing where they were opening the windows as the servants were closing them. The whole idea of creating the idea that a witch could exist in people's minds. Or more so, battlers. That's right. At a fundamental level, all phenomena are neutral, indifferent, and dull. If you want them to be viewed in a certain way, you must first create a suitable environment. If a person has charisma, people will interpret what they do in a positive way, even when they screw up. I see. I guess in that sense, then, the Beato's small efforts aren't misguided. If it was just the mansion's locks being undone, everything could be resolved by saying that someone forgot to lock up or that it was some kind of prank. However, the rumors of a witch wandering about the mansion night after night slowly began to take shape as the existence of the witch. An environment was established so that, if anything strange happened to the mansion at night, it would all be viewed as the work of the witch. I get it. If you follow the reasoning to an extreme, then what you get is no different from a witch existing in the mansion at night. Also, another reason why I don't want to believe that Battler is the adopted baby is the fact that his hair matches Angie's hair. I mean, it's a really simple argument, but still, it works. But I've said before, I really want Kyrie to be his mom. That's what I really hope the actual reveal was. But we don't know. After the Beatos finished their mischief of unlocking and opening the window, they enjoyed the coolness of the wind and the brightness of the moon, then became gold butterflies and disappeared into the darkness. There was no way of knowing whether the window they had opened had actually been opened by them. The servants might have forgotten to lock up, or one of the family might have opened it after the servants had locked up and forgotten to shut it again. Or maybe someone had played a prank. In the same way that none of those possibilities could be denied, it was also impossible to deny the possibility that a witch really had opened a window to enjoy the night breeze. Really? Oh, thank God. I thought it was gonna cut the fucking chapter end. I was gonna be so miffed. I did it another stream. A result without an observer can possess an endless number of ways in which it might have occurred. Humans who can't grasp anything more than a single possibility are unable to imagine anything. However, people who believe in the possibility of a witch can imagine that it was a witch's prank. When that happens, the scene of the Beatrice's prank that we have just seen is etched into the fragment as a fact. That's one of the foundations of magic, embellishing the process. With just a little magic, even a mass-produced stuffed animal can be reborn as a wonderful, unique stuffed animal filled with a mother's love. If you doubt it, it'll be burnt by the anti-magic toxin. If you believe it, that magic will become the truth. I gotta, stop nerd-necking. Not all magic is bad. Maria One-chan was right. Good magic exists too. It may be necessary for a child of man to possess the power to repel evil magic. However, refusing to burn away the defile love-filled magic is part of how love in the human world works. I lied. I need water right fucking now. I'm desperately thirsty. My lips are chapped as fuck, and I have no chapstick. Give me a moment. Hold up, I'm checking my drawers to see if I actually do have chapstick. Fuck tons of toothpicks, gum, a knife for carving a pumpkin, batteries. I don't even use batteries. Post-it notes. What's in my mints, a stapler, scissors, pens. A pencil sharpener. I have no fucking chapstick. What even is this? Is it a micro USB charger? No. Why does this never shut right? Okay. Yep, no chapstick. Hi, Eric. Let me... I can't believe my game capture is not working and I have to keep tabbing out every time I want to do something. That's really fucking bugging me. But now, I can finally become a magnesium-based life form and take my magnesium. Ah. Yeah, okay, I read that. Ellipses. Well, good magic is the only kind I can forgive. For all other kinds, the best remedy is to deny them and burn them away. A typical answer for a child of man. Getting back to the point. Knowing this much, I guess this means that the ghost Beatrice, who was called the ruler of Rokonjima's night, doesn't really exist. It's nothing more than a general term for any inexplicable occurrences that take place in the mansion after dark. Yeah. In other words, Beatrice isn't the name of a person, it's the name of a phenomenon. If anything bizarre happens, it all becomes the work of the Golden Witch. That environment in which a witch could exist, I love that, is what Beatrice is. Well, that's only half of it, I feel. That keeps building on itself until we reach 1986. This is the veil the true culprit is hiding behind. Exactly. And the person hiding behind it is, without a doubt, a human. Perhaps that holds true at this point in the witch's tale of the past. However, I doubt you can use that argument alone to fight all the way through 1986, don't you? No, because there's culprits. Not culprits, accomplices. Ridiculous. Wasn't that obviously because someone forgot to lock up? You see, there was like a little meta moment, but that was actually the story that was being told. I feel like I need to start thinking about these meta scenes as actually, like, happening to some degree. But I'm not sure how to make it work. At least for all of them. Well, you may say that, but this isn't just something that happened once or twice. In other words, you're a klutz, a fool, and a moron of a servant who forgot to check not once or twice, but many times over. Shannon isn't the only one. The same window was always opened even when other servants did the rounds. Yeah, George, protect your child bride. Yeah, Mom even asked me if I'd ever left a window open in the hall at night. I had absolutely nothing to do with it, but she still got pissed. Sheesh. I love Jessica. I'm sure Beatrice wanted to gaze at the moon. Ugh. I miss you, Maria. I feel like there hasn't been a lot of you recently. I miss going, ugh. Yeah, nobody likes her. They literally said in the last, the last stream I did, they casually mentioned the fact that nobody fucking likes her because she's an asshole. She is like a total freaking jagoff. Is it a bit creepy to have that happen over and over at the same time window? And that time when the kitchenware was piled up in the kitchen. The creepy magic circle scribbled there sounds even more freaky. Yes. They said it was an eerie magic circle drawn with something like blood. Ever since then, people have been scared to patrol the kitchen. It's like remembering how they constantly refer to the magic circles as paint-like blood or something to that effect. About the case of the eerie magic circle in the kitchen, who witnessed that? Well, it wasn't me. I heard about it from a servant kid who quit. I wasn't on duty that day. So it's basically like this. Just like those exaggerated stories you hear about haunted locations all over the world, you servants like to have a little fun telling ghost stories about the nighttime mansion, right? You talk as though the witch exists and infect others with that belief. So all of the eerie things that are supposedly done by Beatrice are baseless rumors, which are either the result of coincidence, an accident, or something that someone fabricated for fun. Is that what you're trying to say? Exactly. Of course, there's no way Beatrice exists. Ugh. Beatrice exists! I'm glad that you understand so well, Battler-san. There's probably some person by that name, or else multiple persons of a fixed or unfixed number who do things and attribute it to that name. However, this delusion of a golden witch Beatrice that we're all thinking of is completely impossible. Beatrice exists! I've met her! Oh, could you tell me about that in detail? You met Beatrice? And did she show you magic or something? I see her all the time! Every time I come to Rokenjima, and she always shows me fun magic! Denying the existence of the witch would always have the immediate effect of infuriating Maria. However, Erica, who didn't know this trick to avoiding Maria's fury, plunged into it head on. Stop it. But no matter how Maria tried to sell the idea of Beatrice's existence, she stood no chance of defeating the ruthlessly intelligent Erica in an argument. George and Jessica hurriedly tried to calm Maria down, but there could be no quelling her anger at this point. Good. So, she showed you magic. Could you explain in detail what kind of magic? She would always use magic to give me candy as a present. Beato can create candy with magic. She just took it out of her pocket, didn't she? No, she didn't. It was magic. It was incredible. Tons of candies poured out of an empty cup. Wow, that's some awesome magic. That's right, that really would be magic. Yeah, but it was magic. It really was empty. I checked inside it myself. Huh? What do you mean you checked inside it? Give it a rest, Erica-san. She's just a kid. Come to think of it, Erica-sama, would you like some more Kya! No, thank you. What the fuck is her face? I'm having a seriously intellectual discussion over here. You outsiders can stay out of this. Bro, she's a 9-year-old. Chill. You'll have to tell me more in detail, Maria-san. What do you mean when you say that you checked inside it? Fortunately, we have right here with us a teacup that's just been overturned and emptied. Come on, be my guest and reenact what happened then, okay? Let's see it. If you would, let's see it. Where is this? I'm always confused about this shot. After holding the cup of black tea, which she had just overturned and was still dripping upside down over the table, Erica slammed it down hard and slid it over to Maria. Erica's eyes glowed repulsively, like those of a snake about to snap up a frog. Ooh, I like that's good writing. Those eyes were ice cold and had a madness in them that made one want to avert their gaze. On the other hand, Maria was glaring furiously, her whole body shaking uncontrollably in the greatest expression of anger that a human can manage. Well, yeah, I know it's the guest house, but like, where is this in relation to the bottom floor of the guest house? Because they always show this part when they're talking about the guest house, like when they're in the bottom floor of the guest house. And who fucking golfs? I don't really take Kinzo as a golfer. The look of her face was frightening, not at all what you'd expect from a 9-year-old girl. Stop it, both of you! Ugh. Okay, Beatrice took the empty cup, and then she did this. She put it upside down on the table. Yeah, and then what? Did she lift it up right away and candies flowed out? Incredible. That really would be magic, right? It would be. Battler and the others tried to get in between the two and calm them down, but it was no use. Golf isn't real. Yeah, I get what you're saying. They violently pushed aside the others. God, I stay so fucking hydrated during these streams. It's insane. I think streaming on Twitch has encouraged me to like drink more water. And glaring at each other from so close their foreheads banged together, they repeatedly slammed the upside down cup on the table. The sound of their foreheads banging together and the cup being slapped down shattered the barrier between reality and illusion. Hell yeah. I love this. I fucking love this right now. This is sick. It is magic. It is magic. Beato used magic to make candies appear. Then why don't you reproduce it for us? Founder of Mariage Sorcière, Maria the Witch of Origins.
Lady Erica, this opponent is not worth your time. This battle is not worth fighting.
Fuck, I love my Dlanor voice. Shut up, murder doll. Okay. How do you claim that the overturned cup was filled with candies? Just turning the cup over won't make candies come out. Because you have to use magic. Beato can use magic because she's a witch. Oh yes, she used magic. She used magic. How did she use magic? Did she swing a magic wand and tap the cup to make candies pour out? No, that can't be it, right? Whoa, Maria. Holy shit, Maria's out for fucking blood. Maria's on fucking death ground. Beato is a witch, so she uses magic. So that's her mother makes that face when she gets pissed. Magic happens when you say an incantation and cause a miracle. You can't use the magic that makes candy unless you say the incantation. Oh, sure, understood. Good, good, very good. Let's see this incantation. Let's see this magic. Come on. What kind of incantation would a witch use? What kind? Come, try and picture it. The inside of the cup is filled with candies. Try and picture such a wonder. Oh, and then what? Look, the inside of the cup is filled with candy. Maria grasped the overturned cup so tightly that it nearly cracked and slowly lifted it up. I love this. I needed a little shonen slop. Then from the inside, several cute candies poured out. Maria looked at Erica with a full smile, as if to say, that showed you. Good. And this is what you'd like to call Beatrice's magic, is it? Dlanor? Whoa! What is that fucking face! She looks like fucking Chunk from the Goonies. Get the fuck out of here. She looks like a fucking Urukai. What the fuck? Beat her to death. Die to death. Please say die to death, Glenor. I'm begging you. That's the Erica face that you were telling me about? It looks like she's like holding in a shit. I don't even know what to say.
As you wish.
I won't let anyone deny Beato's magic, because magic is magic.
Nox is 11th. Fuck you.
Magic is impossible. You might be telling a lie about something that never happened. Ooh, the blue truth comes out.
Repetition demanded. Failure to respond will be a violation of Nox's 7th.
Do I have Nox's rules in my tips? Fuck, no. I'll respond. This is the truth. This is a story of something that really happened. I love this. This wouldn't have anything to do with a trick in an actual cup or table, making this just a sleight of hand, right? That would be against the rules, wouldn't it?
Hidden devices and tricks are in violation of Nox's 3rd. However, if and only if foreshadowing has been presented, these are permitted by Nox's 8th.
Nox's 3rd prohibits hidden doors and devices that have no clues pointing towards them. However, by presenting foreshadowing and clues that point towards the existence of said devices, Nox's 8th allows them to be used. I feel like sleight of hand is more likely here. There were no tricks like that. It was just an ordinary table and an ordinary cup. So it was magic, not sleight of hand. You didn't say that in red.
Understood. By Nox's 9th, we acknowledge that Lady Maria witnessed magic.
That's right, with the 9th at least. Oh, observers are always allowed to speak their personal opinions. Otherwise, mysteries where the culprit is seen dressed up as a woman and it's written, "I saw a woman," would all be disqualified. Sure, that's fine. Claim that you saw magic all you want. All truths are nothing more than claims, so I'll make a different claim and see straight through yours to the truth. That's the detective's duty, and where we shine the most. It's more fucked up in the original sprite, I bet. There's nothing to see through. This is magic. Since it is magic, only witches can use it, right? That's right, only witches can use it. So if a human like me could use it too, that would mean it isn't magic, right? You can't use it. Only Beato can use magic. Ew, she did it again. Stop. Good. Then why don't I show you? I'll make candy appear from out of this empty cup. If you think you can, just try. Impossible, impossible, useless, useless. There's no way a human can do it. Then please, 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 just relax and watch. Here we have an empty cup. Is that okay? It is, isn't it? Then we turn over the table like this. She looks like she didn't give a fuck. Let it be known that this fight has no purpose.
No shit.
Okay, can you say the incantation for creating candies? In fact, why don't we say it together? Come, try and picture it. The inside of the cup is filled with candy. Try and picture such a wonder. Stop! Maria-san, why did you close your eyes when you said the incantation? Why not witness the miracle of magic? Humans are polluted by the anti-magic toxin. If a lowly human saw it, the miracle of magic would be wiped out of existence. That's why the rules say that only lowly humans have to... That's why the rules say that lowly humans have to close their eyes when using magic. Wait, what's the line? I hate. Lowly humans have to close their eyes when you... Without love, it cannot be seen. Yep. There's this constant... I don't know, the 5 senses in this game are fucked up. I see. Okay, I understand the protocol for humans to follow when magic's being used. Also, I'm gonna put in my notes, Maria singing in the corner. Of E1. And I don't know if there's any other examples I can think of off the top of my head of characters like losing sight with magic. But as you've talked before a lot, Eric, of that reoccurring theme of like sight and deciding like what's actually going on here? Yeah, I already put that in my notes. Look, it's done now. Oh, wait. In other words, not once have you ever witnessed the moment that magic happened. Isn't that right? Look, it's done now. Please try and lift up the cup, okay? After all, I've used magic to make candies appear. Ooh, that's a good one. There's no way someone who makes fun of witches could use candy magic. Then if it actually does work, it'd be pretty amazing, huh? After glaring at Erica with the utmost of malice, Maria slowly stretched her hand out towards the overturned cup. There was no way that Erica, someone who made fun of witches like this, could ever use magic. There was no way that there'd be candy there. So, how's it look inside? In there lay a single candy with a cute wrapper. Holy shit. What in the name of God? See? What's up with the fucking blood moon? This is magic, right? Erica smiled gently. A look of disbelieving shock rose to Maria's eyes, along with envy for the person who could use the same magic as Beato. Erica, you can use magic too? See, it's magic, isn't it? What I did there? Yeah. So, in other words, Erica smiled pleasantly. She and Maria had finally reached a deep understanding. Of course it isn't! Stop it. You give me... Oh god, she is like the human embodiment of the ick. While you had your eyes closed, I just lifted the cup up and tossed a candy in. You call that magic? It's just a third-rate trick. There's my blue truth as a detective. Now, as the Witch of Truth, here's my red truth. Your so-called candy magic is nothing more than a sleight of hand. Just a sleight of hand that the fake witch calling herself Beatrice or whatever claimed was magic. I mean, seriously, did you really get fooled by such a stupid parlor trick? Any magic related by your spec can't be trusted at all. Everything you ever thought was magic was just a trick that you didn't get. Why are you why is she doing this to Maria? I hate her so fucking much. I'm so done with Erica. They need to fucking, like, throw her to the depths of fucking hell. She's lame. Let the child believe magic exists. What harm will it do her? Huh? It might not have been... Sakuto! It might not have been sleight of hand when you put candy in this cup, but that doesn't prove that Beato's magic was also sleight of hand. Are you... Oh, I haven't done that in so long. However, you also can't prove that only magic could have done it. You rotten stuffed animal. Leave Sakutaro the fuck alone! Please, allow me to speak.
Know that this is a meaningless battle.
You goddamn scraps of paper. Why'd you have to butt in at the good part? Oh, I forgot. They're just like the scraps of paper that she puts in the door. Oh, hi, Aliana. Oh, yeah.
That is enough. Lady Maria has been shown that the candy cup magic could possibly be a trick that she misunderstood to be magic.
Oh, you might want to be careful if you're going to Myanmar. Best of luck. Therefore, her claim that it was magic is dismissed. However, it might really have been magic when Maria saw it. Just because it can be done by sleight of hand doesn't disprove magic.
Well done, Lady Erica. Congratulations on crushing Lady Maria.
Oh, okay. Well, just stay safe. An illusion of the witch occurs when someone tries... I don't have a Discord. It would probably take a while for me to... Plus, my whole streaming thing is fucked up right now. My capture doesn't work, and I don't want to give out my Discord, which would happen if I had to do that right now. It's because this shit, my capture is not working. As it should be, so I can't even, like, share it right now, or else I'm just leaking my Discord to everybody who's watching. Yeah, I'm sorry. But I bet your coin purse is really cute. I find coin purses are like they're like small little bags, so it probably is super cute. It's a kitty holding a fish. That is very adorable. An illusion of the witch occurs when someone tries to force the acknowledgement of magic by claiming that a thing would be impossible without it. It's how witches launch an attack. I'm alright. I've had a very cool, comfy, no work day. So I've got a bunch of errands done. Yeah. If someone's able to... Oh, that's a lot of fucking work. Yeah. Like pallets? Like, were you breaking down pallets or something? Because that shit's fucking exhausting. Wow, yeah, that's a lot of shit. If someone's able to successfully argue back and show that it would be possible without magic, the illusion of the witch is defeated, and the witch must retreat. That's a very cute cat emoji. Not emoji. Emote. Oh my god. The magic Maria claimed to have seen could have been a trick, so it was unqualified to be acknowledged as magic. However, that was only the result of this battle. It was still too early to bring the fight into the domain of denying Beatrice, the witch, and the magic that Maria believed in. Okay. However, battles always end instantly when your opponent surrenders. You are in your abundance arc. Erica wanted to hit Maria with everything at once, defiling the witch and magic she believed in. I too am dirt poor. Defiling the witch and magic she believed in. And crushing it without a fragment of compassion. Twinning! Just one more step, and I've been able to take a heart as innocent and as smooth as the smooth sand just after a wave has been pulled back and tear it to bits. That's fucked up, Erica. That is like the worst fucking thing I've ever seen in my whole life. How could you say that about a fucking 9-year-old? Ugh, I hate Erica. You know that meme where it's the guy staring out the bus and one side looks like really nice and the other side looks like total fucking shit? I feel like Beatrice is like the really good part of Umineko, and like staring out the window to see Erika is just like fucking nightmare because she's an awful human fucking being. There are not enough Legos in the world that she could step on and make me feel happy. What a shame. This isn't any fun anymore. Are you satisfied now? Bing. Ow, 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 ow. Erika grumpily punched Lanor's arm that had been restraining her. However, that cold, hard, marble-like arm just made Erika's hand hurt. Diplomatic immunity. This battle is over. I miss you, Sakutaro. Please come back. Allow me to speak. Diplomatic immunity accepted.
Know that this fight is childish.
Did you say something?
She did not. Let us withdraw. Lady Maria is no enemy of yours, Lady Erika. There is no need to pay any attention to small fry.
Okay, that's weird.
Such as this.
You're right. Childish of me, tearing a kid's dreams apart. Yeah, no shit. I'm really sorry, okay? Oh my fucking god, I could strangle her. I apologize for my momentary lack of elegance. You are never fucking elegant. Let's go. Erika and the others turned their backs on Maria, who was still crouching down limply. However, as detectives and famous mysteries have always done in the past, Erika clapped her hands, stopped, and turned around. Oh, that's right. What, just one more thing. Yeah, she deserves every bizarre hamster death that you could imagine. Every time somebody tells me that they've owned a hamster, I'm like, how'd it fucking die? Oh, it crawled up my car exhaust pipe and died in there. Or like some absolutely wild shit. There needs to be a Columbo. Imagine Umineko, but just fucking Columbos in it. The mystery is solved instantly. Simply by the existence of the overturned cup, this level of reasoning is possible for Furudo Erika. Congratulations, Furudo Erika. You fucking crushed a 9-year-old's hopes and dreams. What do you think, everyone? Erika's merciless words gouged themselves into Maria's heart once more. Erika left, leaving an evil laugh behind her. After bowing to Maria and Sakutaro, Glanor left too. Please, allow me to speak. After bowing to Maria and Sakutaro... Wait. I already read that, fuck. Gertrude and Cornelia followed suit. I wonder what's up with the names Gertrude and Cornelia, though. After that, only Maria and Sakutaro were left in the lonely Golden Land. Are you? Beato is a witch. Are you? Beato is a witch. It was magic. It was magic. It got but its paws stuck to glue and got stuck to the ceiling fan, and then the ceiling fan got turned on high, and the centrifugal force made its brain fly out its ears, and its rained blood all over the room. Most tame and humane hamster death. It's like in The Sopranos when fucking like Chrissy falls asleep on the fucking dog. It's like that times 1,000. I don't know, Toad. I just fucking fell asleep. You killed an animal, and as an animal lover, I cannot stand that. It was magic. Beato used magic to give you candy. You don't need to doubt that. But you, please believe in Beato. You don't know that magic can't bear fruit unless you believe. Surrounded by an ice-cold drizzle that had started falling at some point, Maria cried quietly. Trying to at least protect her from the rain, Sakutaro used his large sleeves. Aww! Oh, I love Sakutaro. Ooh, that's good. I'm putting that in my notes. I bought a new candle today and it smells so fucking good. The other candle I bought, I couldn't smell at all, and I'm not sure it's because I don't have a good sense of smell because of my second COVID bout, but this one I can definitely smell, and it smells like hot buns, because that's the name of the fucking flavor. Or the scent, not the flavor. That's the only reason why I bought the candle. I didn't even, like, smell it. I just saw it was called hot buns, and I'm like, fuck yeah. And stayed there by her side. I love Sakutaro. Fuck yeah. Maria deserves nothing but happiness. And her mother needs to pull her shit together. No, 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 no. Don't worry, my shit is clean enough. I actually have a Yeti water bottle, so we're good. I really fuck with the Yeti. I have a Yeti water bottle and a Yeti, like, coffee travel mug. That shit is badass. Okay, let's go, Maria. Let's play cards in the room upstairs. Erica-san. As an adult, I can't say I was very impressed by that conversation just now. All right, George. You know what, George? A fucking broken clock is right twice a day. My apologies. I'm still just a kid after. Oh, fucking bullshit. After seeing that wonderful candy magic brutally insulted by Erica, Maria had been crying non-stop. I started noticing it as soon as after the I started noticing it as soon as the after dinner quiz party. But your personality really is screwed up. I was really kind of fucked up by the magic cheese. And I have that same fixed mindset where I was like drawing the fucking cheese on it. And they said the whole shit about using a fucking napkin, but that's bullshit. If you're gonna draw it on a two-dimensional plane as a two-dimensional object, you're not gonna even think about slicing it through the middle. So I didn't figure that shit out. I mean, it doesn't really surprise me, but Battler having the idea of folding up. I also imagine that they could have just used like a knife with 8 blades or like something like that. I don't even really buy the idea. They never even specify what the knife looks like. It could just be an 8-bladed knife, and they used one slice that way, which is kind of bullshit. But at this point, I feel like the game needs you to kind of think out of the box a bit. And I'm thinking outside of the box, outside of their box, because fuck the box. Do you think that this is fun? Do you like tearing a little kid's dreams apart? Please stop, Battler-sama. Please, for my sake, don't push any further here. Oh, that's a fucking Shannon is Beatrice line. Don't do that to me. I don't want Shannon to be Beatrice. It's most likely Jessica. Shannon, who had been flustered, bowed her head deeply and implored Battler to stop. George, who didn't want Shannon pressured, fell in line. Let's go. Let's spend this year in the cousin room again. We can watch TV and play cards. I've heard that Erika-san has her own room. Shannon, please guide her there. Oh no, no need to bother yet. I'll relax down here for a little while longer. I want to savor it a bit. Ew! Fucking punch her! Fucking kick her ass! Fuck her! What the hell are you trying to savor? Battler and the others could no longer hide their irritation. They had no obligation. I can't wait to watch Erika get, like, atomized out of existence by Burncastle for whatever fucking reason. They had no obligation to entertain their uninvited guest any further than this. Erika herself understood perfectly well that no place would welcome a detective. Yeah, no place would welcome a detective. Yeah, welcome a detective. Welcome you, Erika, because you're so fucking... Battler and the others wanted to leave, but Erika wanted to stay. Neither had any desire to stop the other. Jessica urged Maria, who was still crying, to come along. Then Maria stopped and spun around and shot Erika with a pistol right in the head, braining her all over the fucking carpet. They do exist here and there. Humans who are practically lumps of toxin and don't believe in magic. There are lots of boys like you in my class. They don't believe in witches or magic or miracles or happiness. You can't become a witch if you let the toxin of people like that burn you to ashes. I may not look it, but I'm Beatrice's disciple. I'm the apprentice witch of origins. Maria, who had been crying quietly a second ago, seemed to have been transformed into an entirely different person. She laughed, no, cackled, eerily. Battler's group stiffened up at the sudden change, but Erika was watching calmly. Then she smiled. No, I haven't, but that sounds really fucking funny. You guessed it. Being the detective. That has to be the douchiest fucking... That has to be like a top 5 douchiest thing she's ever said. She is a total gormless rube. She is totally without gorm. Good. You've got some guts. Good night, Miss Maria. Let's fight in a more challenging game next time. Sure, let's. It's a promise. You stop that too, Maria. Come on, let's go. What about you, Shannon-chan? Come with us if you want to play cards. Come on, join us for at least one round. It'll cheer you up. Then just for a bit. Shannon couldn't remain in this suffocating lounge any longer either. In part apologetic and in part trying to escape, she followed after Battler's group. After that, Erica was the only one left in the lounge. Still wearing a thin smile, she tapped a glass with her finger. There was a light clink. A surprisingly boring sound. Even so, Erica wore a thin smile as though pleased. Hold up. I feel like I gotta copy this, because I feel like if I click it, it's gonna open up on my regular browser with my Instagram. Why does the internet hide this from me?
Well, well, well. Guess who just got kicked out of Starbucks for, you guessed it, being white? Hey gang, Caleb here. Glad to see you enjoyed my little video. Next time that you order a temporary tattoo online, make sure that you get an actual temporary one and not the kind that's waterproof and apparently lasts 2 weeks. If anybody has any advice on what to do, please direct message me on how to get this off my head. Thanks.
I love that it says, I love how it spells heart. Like it doesn't have like the heart symbol, it's just I heart eating shit. That's my favorite part. I fucking love that. I hate Erica. Man, it's so hard. Nobody loves the detective. Oh, sorry to keep you waiting. I was just in the bath. Oh, where is everyone? You just missed them. They went up to the second floor. I'm the one who called you here. I've heard that you know a lot about the story of Akuji Kishima and the tale of the Witch of the Forest. Oh, yes, well, it is a trivial story, but I don't mind in the slightest if it's trivial. Would you like a drink to follow your bath? Even I like to be helpful every now and then. Erica stood up, opened the refrigerator behind the counter, and pulled out and put ice into the ice pail. I'd like a Bud Light. I'd like a Pabst Blue Ribbon, please. I really like PBR. Can I have a Michelob Ultra? I think the only Japanese beer I know is Sapporo. There's another one, but I'm blanking on it. Erica-chan, huh? She's an odd kid. Somehow I just can't seem to get along with the young kids these days. Except my child bride, Shannon, who is very mature for her age. You're still pretty young yourself, George-san. Why would George say that? Just to upset me. He's 23! I'm older than fucking George. George is the type of guy that really fucking hates 6-7. Like, he's really against it. Every time somebody says 6-7, he gets really fucking upset. Like, not even, like, like, irrationally upset. Like, it's the worst, most annoying thing he's ever heard. And not just, like, kids doing dumb kid shit. He just doesn't get it. Exactly. I guess it's because I've always been the oldest of the cousins. It's always made me feel like I'm not one of the young ones anymore. Maria would fucking love 6-7. Actually, she wouldn't. I changed my mind. George and Shannon could be seen standing in the rainy rose garden. Though the rain was still pouring down, there was hardly any wind at all. The scant protection. She would love Skibbity, I agree. She would definitely like Skibbity, but she would not like 6-7. I feel like to her, like, 6-7 is a little too mainstream. I've also, like, my bangers have included she would have loved Undertale, Five Nights at Freddy's. Sonic is more like my time. So she definitely would have been a big Sonic fan. I guess she would have watched Happy Tree Friends too. Basically all the dumb shit I watched as a kid, she would have watched. Oh, totally, 100 fucking %. The scant protection provided by the arbor was more than enough to house this secret meeting between lovers. Following that fight with Erica, they had decided to play some cards for a change of pace. When that was over, Shannon had returned to the servant room, and shortly after that, George had left his room to meet with Shannon at the time they had arranged. Jessica would love Fortnite. Maybe Skyrim too. I could definitely see her getting into Skyrim. Or like Baldur's Gate 3. I think she would like that too. I think kids around Erica-san's age have a hard time getting along with themselves, more so than any other age. Yeah, he would be playing Fire Emblem, Crusader Kings 3, so he could be like marrying children in the game. Or The Coffin of Andy and Lele? Lily? He would like that probably because he's a sick fuck. Or I don't know, just like the what's that game? Danganronpa? Isn't that like a weird game? I've never played it. I don't really know anything about it. I love my Civilization 6. I love playing Oda Nobunaga. I don't even know if he's the leader of... I only played Civ 5. And then I jumped to grand strategy games. Around that age, most kids are so determined to free themselves from the shell of childhood that they lash out in all directions with their beaks. Meanwhile, I think Ava would fuck with like the Wii Sports games, like the balance board thing. Tekken too, that's a good one. Or like DDR. I feel like she like really fucks with those like very kinetic, high input games. And I can definitely imagine Kraus and Rudolph playing like FIFA or like NHL or Madden and fucking just getting really pissed at each other and getting really competitive. This is the greatest Pier slop. I just love talking about this goofy shit. Like, what games would they all like? She accidentally runs over somebody, and Rudolph gets, like, fucking offended. He's like, what the fuck is wrong with you? When they do break out, they'll finally be able to stretch their wings and fly high. Exactly. I was like that too. My old self, still trapped inside that shell, was a weak, deplorable person who I couldn't really respect. But that's not true. No, it's okay. I realize it myself. Back then, I might have been the oldest of the cousins, but I was still a lazy, hopeless person. And it wasn't just with the cousins. At home, at school, it was like that everywhere. I hated being like that. I wanted to break that shell and become a splendid adult like mother and father. But in the end, you did break out of that shell, George-sama. Now we're going back to the egg symbology here. And like the bird shit. Every time I've met you these past few years, you've grown beyond recognition. Thank you. Did something cause you to make up your mind? To break out of my shell? Yes. I can't imagine that you grew so rapidly, like a butterfly breaking out of its cocoon. By just wandering around aimlessly. I thought there must have been some turning point that made you become so determined. I fell in love with you and grew thanks to the power of love. God. Is what I've told you so far. But the truth is, the turning point was a much more negative emotion. No way. It's hard to believe that someone who's always as bright and cheerful as you could have negative emotions. Oh boy, Ridi Pagliazio. Well, my parents brought me up to treat women with care. I'm a male feminist. Shut the fuck up, George. Oh my fucking god, there's no way. This is where George just virtue signals to his child bride about how fucking righteous he is. Oh my god. No fucking way he's doing this. And I thought that I'd managed to live my life that way. Yes, I think you're wonderful, a real gentleman. But I'm not, actually. Yeah, no shit, we know this. I didn't know how to interact with the opposite sex. Girls my age just didn't like me. That's why I groomed you, Shannon. I deified them excessively, and though I had behaved in a gentlemanly, ladies first kind of way, I was probably outright afraid of interacting with girls. I feel like I'm an awful flirt. Like, I don't know how to flirt. All I can do is make a girl laugh. Like, that's the only fucking thing I can do. Everything else is just, like, whatever. I can't do it. But if I can make her laugh, that's it. That's all I need. Fuck yeah. I've only had one. But I don't know, I'm a very, like, private person. I'm a very, but very shy human being. Of course, George had wanted to be around girls as much as any healthy boy might. Fuck yeah. However, he didn't know how to interact with them. He wanted to act like a gentleman, to avoid being disliked by them, treating them with care. Of those feelings, only the words, treat women with care, took precedence, blossoming into a subconscious fear of women. That's very psychoanalytical. You might call a man like that gentlemanly or a late bloomer. Ridiculous. I was just a coward. Because of that, I started to wonder why I couldn't get a girlfriend if I was so gentleman. I can't believe he's literally just admitting to being a nice guy. Fucking George. This guy is such an unbelievable fucking goober. Also, I think I said this last stream, but I'm just going to repeat it now. I'm not going to stream tomorrow because I'm going to be watching the Game Awards with my friends. And that shit is always fucking hilarious. I do not take the Game Awards seriously at all. I just watch it for, like, the spectacle and the Twitter discourse. Because people get fucking pissed. People got really upset on Twitter because this one guy who, like, puts a peanut over his face won, like, best VTuber over or whatever. And, like, a lot of VTubers got fucking so mad. But, like, it was I think it was a community vote, so they just didn't try hard enough. Because of that, I started to wonder why I couldn't get a girlfriend if I was so gentlemanly. And I eventually came to the conclusion that all the women in the world had no taste. Yeah, I have not played it. To be honest, my opinion of Nintendo games is not Nintendo. Well, yes, because Donkey Kong Bonanza or whatever the fuck is getting nominated, but I have such a low opinion of Nintendo games. I have such a fundamentally low opinion of them. I would get so much hate if I talked about how bad I think Nintendo games are. I had a Switch, I had a Wii, and I had a GameCube, and I had a DS when I was a kid, a DS Lite, and a Game Boy. So I guess I had a very kind of classic Nintendo child upbringing until I started like playing PC when I was like 12, but I feel like I just don't consider Nintendo games to be like, I feel like they're just more about mechanics. I'm such a story guy, and I feel like it just I don't get that at all from any of those games. It's just like platforming or whatever the fuck. And I'm super bad at that shit. This is all, what I haven't told you is this is all a fucking cope from me, because the first game I ever played in my life was Super Mario Sunshine, and I never finished it. And I still hold, like, residual anger to this day. Because I was a dumb, like, 5-year-old child who couldn't even freaking figure it out. That's what a truly pathetic man looks like. Incel George. I played Galaxy 2. I got really close to finishing it, but I never did. I only ever played Mario 64 at the grocery store when I was a kid, because they used to have like a place where they could drop off your kids and like you could just play video games and do art and hang out. And I played 64 there, but I also never finished it. I was super young then. However, Nintendo games will always have great music. They always do music super well. How many years ago was it when I was noticed? When I noticed? Probably when I was in middle school. At the time, I assumed that I was obviously the most gentlemanly of the cousins, so I would obviously be popular with women. However, reality was very different. At school, I was pretty much completely hopeless. Far from being a leader, I was a typical bullied kid who got pushed around by everyone. At the time, I figured I was just a capable and adaptable man who could keep in perfect tune with his surroundings. Every time George fucking talks, I just roll my eyes. Oh my god. How stupid. Sure, I might have gained some measure of trust from girls. However, they only ever liked the bad boys, unlike me, who was a total gentleman. However, not only was there no one who would become my girlfriend, there weren't even girls I could call friends. Of course, I was a man who always stepped back for the sake of ladies first. Who would ever want to follow behind such a negative, unmotivated man? It's funny. I didn't even realize this and was convinced that I was an attractive guy. I can sort of understand how you felt. Just because someone puts a lot of hard work to look attractive to the opposite sex, it doesn't necessarily work out as they plan. Oh? Has that happened to you too, Shannon? Of course. Oh god. No, don't make me suspect Shannon is Beatrice, please. I don't think I want Jessica. It's better. It's better. One time I wanted to catch a boy's eye so much, I tried to put on makeup even though I didn't know how and embarrassed myself. I remember a lot of embarrassing failures. The person that made me finally get over my conceit and open up my eyes was you, Shannon, when I was 16 and you were like 8 or whatever the fuck. No, it was both of you. What was the turning point for you, George-san? Envy, probably. That's unexpected. But envy over what? Fuck! Fuck! No! Stop it. Stop it. Game, don't give me reason to suspect Shannon. Please. I saw you and Battler-kun having a really good time talking. That made me envious. Me and Battler-sama? Shannon raced through her memories, trying to find a conversation that might have made George envious. It probably seemed trivial to you too. However, it still made me envious. Battler, what the fuck? I don't want Battler to hear what I say next, no matter what. Can you promise me? Of course. It's going to be a shameful confession. But I shit in his underwear and made him stand next to you one day. Still, I want you to hear it. I want to hear your answer tonight. Only after I've told you about my bad sides. Yeah, George, you're such a bad boy, George. You're so bad. Okay, let me hear it. With a smile but a serious look in her eyes, Shannon nodded. Tonight, she knew what he was going to ask her tonight. George had the right to confess before asking that sacred question, and Shannon had the obligation to listen. Shannon understood this, so she listened quietly. So this is what the Witch of Theater going peeps in on during her spare time? Stories of love are precious in my age. I never tire of them. Who doesn't? However, I do find that expression of virgin disgust on your face even more amusing. Featherine laughed quietly. Angie huffed and looked away. But she quickly realized that this would only entertain Featherine even more, so she tried to act unconcerned. Both Battler-kun and Jessica-chan have always been spirited. No, phrasing it that way is just dodging the issue. Let me be frank. George looked up at where the moon should be, high above the rain clouds, and spoke. They were honest words, spoken simply from George's heart. Oh, thank you, Goo user. Yeah, I saw you followed like a week ago. So thank you very much, and welcome to my little live stream. It's been an absolutely fucking wild ride. For a long time back then, I thought of Battler-kun and Jessica-chan as bad-mannered kids. No, let me be even more blunt. I thought that even the way they talked was vulgar. It's true. I don't mind if you hold me in contempt for that. I don't. People are allowed to think anything they want inside their hearts. They were vulgar? Who fucking cares, George? In fact, I think you were all the more commendable for not letting it show on the outside. Thanks. I secretly looked down on those two. I was so conceited that I truly thought I was just overflowing with gentlemanly charm. Oh my god, fucking George. Compared to them. I was at that age where having a girlfriend felt like a necessary condition for becoming a real man. Ugh. I truly believed that no girl could fail to admire a gentleman who treated girls as well as I did. So I really did assume that the girls I knew were attracted to me. I thought that Battler-kun and Jessica-chan, who always joked around and spoke in a rude, vulgar fashion, would never be able to get a boyfriend or girlfriend. I might have used that argument to distract myself when I still couldn't get one myself. I was a fool. They weren't inferior to me at all. I was the No, George! No, you're all just stupid hormonal children. All of you are insecure. That is part of being a teenager, I'm afraid. They weren't inferior to me at all. I was the inferior one, with my deification of the opposite sex and my fear, which I hid under the guise of ladies first. That's been Battler and Jessica-san's. Ooh, I hate when I accidentally add the honorifics. Ugh, I recoil. Personality from the beginning. True, they were rude, and one couldn't have called them gentlemanly or ladylike. However, they did have the power to interact without worrying about gender. In fact, you might even call that their charm. I sort of understand. People like Oni-chan and Jessica One-chan can get along with anyone, whether that person's a boy or a girl. I hate to bring it up because of George Oni-chan, but I find people who act too overtly like a gentleman a bit creepy. Let's fucking go! Somebody fucking finally called George creepy! Fuck yes! Finally! Thank you, Angie. It's like they're virgins trying too hard or whatever. Oh my fucking god. Fucking awesome. My steak is too juicy. My lobster too buttery. When dealing with strangers, people prefer for them to be harmless and boring. However, they only appreciate these qualities because such a person doesn't get in the way. No human would want to hang around with a boring person all the time. Of course. No idiot would want to be friends with an unmoving, unspeaking telephone pole. However, unmoving and unspeaking is exactly what you'd want from a telephone pole. That's it. It seems as though George finally discovered that he wouldn't be viewed as an attractive man no matter how superior he was, and that he had been treated like a telephone pole the whole time. Back then, my conceit was at its peak, just like Umineko. So when everyone gathered at the family conference, I believed I was the most attractive and that all the servant girls who played with us loved having me there. On that day, I finally realized how pathetic I was. Did I say something inconsiderate then? No, it's the opposite. You didn't say anything at all. My conceited delusion that I was the only one ever reflected in your eyes was crushed. Just when did it start? No, it must have been long before then. If I only failed to notice because my eyes were clouded with conceit. This is such a seeing theme. One day I suddenly realized it. All of you were getting along with Battler-kun and Jessica-chan far better than with me. Playing around and having a good time. Yes. Those two, whom I'd looked down upon so much, were radiating far more charm than I was. You really looked like you were enjoying yourself that day. The look on your face was far brighter than any you ever showed me. Sickening, isn't it? I just assumed that you liked me, and even had some childish fantasy that we might end up dating. I one-sidedly felt as though my girlfriend had been stolen from me and let myself feel hurt. I was such a pathetic man. That's when I finally realized how foolish I'd been. George-sama. After that, stuff happened and Battler-kun stopped coming to the family conferences, but I heard about him from time to time from Uncle Rudolph. He's a pretty funny guy. Even though he got in fights with Battler-kun all the time, he always paid close attention to what his son was up to. That's true. He spoke to me about it as well. I think even Asumu-sama was exasperated by it. She thought all his popularity with the girls at school and the unceasing trouble this caused must have been because of Rudolph-sama's blood. You see, this is why I do think Battler is Rudolph's son. There's just, I don't know. And Jessica-chan, too. I hear she built up a huge number of friends, both boys and girls, and that she was always right in the middle of things. When I talked with her myself, I could see that this was no exaggeration. This proved that the two I'd looked down upon were much more attractive human beings than I was. At first, I tried to imitate those two, and it was pretty ridiculous. I thought that by joking around and speaking rudely, I could get some of that same charm they had. You did that? It's a bit too hard to picture. It was miserable. I wish I could forget that time for the rest of my life. It's called being in high school, George. It's okay. In any event, I quickly realized that I could never become truly attractive by imitating them like that. The reason I had no charm was because of my cowardice. Oh, is he me? Is he me? I'm a coward for totally different reasons, George. Under the pretense of respecting people and acting to fit in with the general atmosphere, I was always running away. I resolved myself to overcome that flaw and be reborn. Oh, this is very thematic. I finally understood the shell I was in and swore to break out of it. Every time my determination began to waver, I'd remember that day. That day I saw you two forget about me entirely and played around happily. And the fact that those eyes of yours, which I always assumed were attracted to me, never noticed me at all. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah, ooh-ah. I made an oath. This time I wanted to be the one who caught your attention for real. The one reflected in your eyes. When I was 15 and you were 7. That's actually the first thing I felt when I fell in love with you. Sounds like it was pretty complicated for you. On that day, my desire for revenge against the two of you had ignored me and played together. No, against you alone. Suddenly transformed into true love. However, I swear this to God, even though that was the reason I first started to take you seriously, there are no lies in the way I feel about you now. I swear to love you for all my life. That's a really hard promise to make, George. I will not lie about anyone or about that for anyone or anything. I am prepared to take you as my wife, even if it means having the entire world as my enemy. George-san. That's the confession I wanted to make to you beforehand. Before now, I've called you my first love. Love at first sight. That was a lie. It was only my selfish, twisted... It doesn't matter. Shannon smiled, but spoke forcefully enough to cut through George's words. Is there some rule saying that people can't get together just because they weren't each other's first love? Is it a betrayal to forget the first person you fell in love with? Love isn't that simple. I remember the first girl I had a crush on. Good times. Well, it might be simple. After all, love is easy. At all times, whatever you feel now, only the honest things you feel now can tell you the right answer. So things of the past or how our relationship started aren't important at all. Then confessing to all that was wrong of me? No, George, you're missing the fucking point. No. I'm being a bit glad to learn that even George-san, who's always perfect at everything, has a human side to him. And I'm kind of glad that I'm the only person you've told this to. Thank you. I was only able to become who I am because of you. Me too. I am who I am because of you, George-san. So please, tell me without holding back. What kind of husband and wife will we be? And what kind of future will we build together? When I have you as my wife, I will become an even more accomplished businessman than my father. After several challenges and adventures, I hope to find the limits of my potential. I want to reach that peak together with you. The view from there will be something that no one can show you but me. It sounds fun. I'll be with you wherever you go. Of course, it won't be an adventure as a businessman. I'd like to create many things that only a couple can make. And what could that be? A bed and breakfast. Let's have some kids. Yes, my husband. I'd like 3 of them at the least. Fucking George. Oh my god, why is he saying this? George, stop. I hate George. At least 1 boy and 1 girl. And what if all 3 are boys? Then the next one might be a girl. We can have a 4th one. Doesn't matter how many. Let's enjoy the adventure of bringing them up together. And when those children eventually leave their nest, they'll make us some grandchildren. Before we know it, we'll reach a boisterous old age surrounded by a whole crowd of kids and grandchildren. It sounds like fun. I wonder what kind of grandpa you'll be. What did Game Master Battler mean by this? That is very fair. That is a very good question. We do know that this episode's been kind of fucked up so far, and I would definitely describe this as fucked up. And I wonder what kind of grandma you'll be. However, I will always keep loving you. However, this does go like perfectly within my theory that these last chapters are going to be about love. And when we eventually pass away, surrounded by our vast family, our lives will stretch behind us, unmatched by anyone else's. George didn't just talk about his love of the present. He swore to love her soul until the final moment when the lid of their coffins would be shut. Then, George took out a small box out of his pocket. Even without opening, she knew what was inside, because she remembers the fucking plot. He took it out with a motion that was even more natural than the one he'd practiced in the airport bathroom, and was overflowing with masculine charm. Sayo? Yes? Let's get married. Yes. Please take this ring and put it on your finger. Yes, George-san. That ring, which glistened divinely even in the dim light of the arbor, passed from George's hand to Shannon's finger. Of course, Shannon had already decided which finger to put it on. I swear to resolutely stand against any fate that may attempt to stand in the way of our future. George proclaimed that he would reveal their engagement to the entire family on the next day. Whoa, that's new. George is gonna fucking die. George is definitely dying in the first Twilight. Or Shannon is, either or. My parents might criticize this marriage. However, I will not let them stop us. I'm going to inform them of our engagement, not ask for their permission. If Mother says that she won't allow our marriage, I plan to have myself disinherited and we'll leave this family together. I have been prepared for that since long ago. I swear once again to resolutely stand against all fates that get in the way of our future. George had said it aloud, so Shannon said the same thing. Me too. I swear to stand against all fates that get in the way of our future, George-san. And that goes into the whole thing that her and Cannon were talking about at the beginning of this episode. Battler-san, when will the crime start? I've just about had it with this love show. Be quiet and watch. Sure, fine. I'd hate to yawn and let some spectacular bit of foreshadowing slip by. Do you have no love? Are there any mystery novels that accept love as proof? Disco Elysium, Disco Elysium, Disco Elysium. Love did him in. No, there aren't. Disco Elysium is not a mystery. Erica laughed coldly and stared down at the two on the game board. Battler watched her quietly. Erica thought she felt a touch of pity in his gaze, and she averted her eyes uncomfortably. Ellipses, I do understand more or less. Love can at least become a motive for murder. I can interpret this scene beneath the arbor to represent a possible motive for the crime if their engagement is somehow impeded. Then again, no matter how much people talk of love with words that aren't read, it's all just an illusion. That's sad. So you could never love a human without proof given to you by a witch? Please put an end to this frivolous love talk. I'm your enemy, not a friend to whom you can talk about love just for the hell of it. I can't understand you at all right now. What on earth did you figure out? Weren't you and Beato always insulting and trying to kill each other? What kind of truth could you have reached to make you change your emotions regarding her? Please don't tell me that feelings of true love have sprouted from your murderous rivalry or anything like that, okay?
Lady Erica, let us have him continue the game's progression. Boring love scenes such as this are best finished quickly.
You got a point there. Sorry for butting in. Come on, let's move on. If Erica suspects Shannon this episode, I'm gonna be so fucking happy because I'm gonna feel perfect. I'm gonna feel like I'm in such a good spot. It's Shannon. I've come back.
Indeed. The log for today has not yet been filled out.
Yes, I'll do that right away. Cannon-kun, thanks for keeping an eye out while I was gone.
That was a pretty long break. Cannon had already noticed. There was a silvery glint coming from the ring finger on Shannon's left hand. Then I will retire. Please do not hesitate to wake me if anything occurs.
Good night, Genji-sama.
Good night, Genji-sama.
Genji disappeared off to the waiting room. After that, only Shannon and Cannon remained. Ooh, this is gonna be a fucking scene and a half. Thanks for giving me some time. I'll stay here for the rest, so you can go to sleep now.
So it's my turn next.
Yeah. Sorry, but we aren't going to lose.
And I won't lose either.
Even though you've always been a coward and let Milady take the lead until now?
Wasn't it you who taught me, Nason?
What did I teach you?
The past is immaterial when it comes to love.
The present is all that matters.
If that's true, then I think my present is in no way inferior to yours, Nason.
Shannon and Cannon glared at each other with serious eyes. That period of tension vanished when Shannon chuckled. Yeah, that's good. You and Milady have to give it your all. If you do end up together, make sure you build up a relationship wonderful enough that the rest of us can cheer you on with all of our hearts.
Well, you do have a huge lead on me.
There's no helping that. That way, that's what you get for your cowardice before now.
I know. That is my sin.
Shannon and Cannon fished around their pockets and drew out two small things that glittered gold. They looked like left and right wings of a gold butterfly. We are furniture. In order to become human and receive the miracle that allows us to love, we must rely on the miracle of magic once again.
To think that her brooch would actually prove useful.
It's the only magic within our reach. It was the golden butterfly brooch, which Beatrice had once given to Shannon in hopes of creating love between her and George. Shannon then gave it to Cannon, but he let his emotions get a hold of him and crushed it to pieces. So when the two wings they held were brought together, it would regain the form of a beautiful butterfly.
Then I'll be back soon.
I love it when Cannon does the fucking :3 face. This is I like this Cannon.
After all, they asked me to play cards with them.
Yeah, good luck. I'm sure Milady will be happy.
It's a bit embarrassing.
Enjoy that feeling. Cannon left the servant room. He went to go see Jessica and tell her what he had determined to do. Shannon quietly watched him go. The fragment of the brooch in the engagement ring left off a gold and silver glint. That takes me back. That's something I gave Shannon, if I recall. I always wondered if they lost it after Cannon stepped on it, but it seems they still had it the whole time. That's the golden butterfly brooch, isn't it? Fuck! Two Beatrices, two butterfly brooches. What the fuck is going on? I can't. I'm really struggling with this part. No, I don't want Shannon to be fucking Beatrice. I want fucking Jessica to be Beatrice. I read about the magical brooch that could save a love relationship in Feathering San's book. That had been the first time that Beatrice, Witch of the Forest, had interacted with a human and gave them her power. Bit by bit, she had transformed from a mere ghost to the ruler of the mansion at night, and by making the servants believe in her, she had wiped away the anti-magic power. Oh wait, I almost forgot to say, this is gonna be the 50th episode of my YouTube VODs. It's not gonna be my 50th stream of Umineko because I had a VOD that was cut in half by a computer issue. Maybe even 2, actually. But this is gonna be part 50 of my Let's Play. So yay! There's so much footage to watch. And then it eventually became possible for her to appear openly in front of Shannon, whose magic resistance had grown particularly low and who had begun to believe in the existence of Beatrice. To Beato, who had been unable to interact with anyone for many years, this conversation with Shannon must have been especially fun. That's why I generously gave her the butterfly brooch. I was in quite a good mood. It is no common thing for a heartless witch such as myself to be so gracious. But it's wonderful. You brought a pair of future lovers together. Of course, I did not do it to pamper them. It was in exchange for smashing that hateful spirit mirror that had repressed my magical powers. Thanks to that, I was able to regain much of my power all in one go. I don't think about the shrine too much. Maybe I should think about it more. What does that represent? But then, one night, purple lightning smashed the shrine. Those of the surrounding islands called it an evil omen. Oh, now that I think of it, that must have been a prelude to Beatrice-sama's resurrection. Kumasawa had the rest of the night off, so she had let Erika talk her into drinking a bit. Oh, she did give her a Michelob Ultra. Or a Pabst Blue Ribbon. And was chatting about the legend of I can never say this. Akuji Kishima and Beatrice in a happy, tipsy mood. Erika would nod from time to time, but besides this, she listened in complete silence. She wasn't actually taking notes, but she was gathering information on the whiteboard inside her head. Then, she frowned as though noticing something out of place and held up her hand. Wait a second. Yes? That shrine was built by a traveling Shugenja monk to seal up the evil spirits of Akuji Kishima. Isn't that right? Yes, that is correct. It was one who possessed a vast supernatural power, and who placed that power within the mirror, and placed it within the shrine as a sacred mirror to seal the evil spirits. Something feels off about that. Why would a shrine to seal off the evil spirits of Akuji Kishima also seal Beatrice? Well, that's because of the sacred mirror's spiritual power. I see. So this really convenient sacred mirror that works on both evil spirits from the west and spirits from the east and witches from the west. Got it. I'm still not satisfied, but I'll back off there for now. What I don't understand is why Beatrice can't stand spiderwebs. According to the legend, the evil spirits of Akuji Kishima despised spiderwebs, so they were apparently used as wards against evil in the surrounding islands. In fact, spiders are a useful bug. There's nothing strange about the fact that island farmers had treasured them. It's very possible that they weren't tied to the story of evil spirits and became known as charms against evil. That's super cool, leading to a tradition of people treating this useful bug with care through the generations. But that's just the legend of Akuji Kishima. The origins for the legend of the witch, Beatrice, came after Ushirimiya Kinzo moved to this island, when rumors sprouted about this mysterious legend of the gold, as well as the witch mistress who gave it to him. In other words, the evil spirits of Akuji Kishima and the Golden Witch Beatrice were originally completely different things. And yet, the stories treat them like they're the same. Well now, the evil spirits of Akuji Kishima couldn't stand spiderwebs, so neither could Beatrice. That sort of reasoning had been applied all over the place. That's like a duality thing, I think. When it was pointed out that this was strange, Kumasawa was lost for an answer. The doorknob to Kinzo-san's study has a scorpion magic circle drawn on it, which represents a charm against evil and Western sorcery. That's why the Western witch Beatrice can't touch it. I can understand that part. But there's no reason for Beatrice to dislike spiderwebs. I don't remember spiderwebs ever being included among things witches can't stand. On the contrary, wouldn't spiders be the friends of and minions of a witch? Well, in my opinion, those two legends about the evil spirits of Akuji Kishima and the witch Beatrice have been mixed together a little. In fact, maybe they've been fully fused together as one. Why are we getting Hegelian with it again? Stop! The legend of Akuji Kishima is a fairy tale created by fishermen fearful of the reefs in the Rokkanjima area. However, there was no visual image to go along with those evil spirits. Were they monsters? Were they people or monsters or ghosts without legs? My glasses are fucking filthy right now. Oh my goodness. There's no mental picture of them. People are bad at imagining things without visuals. That's when the legend of the witch called Beatrice came in. A witch is a lot easier to picture than evil spirits. And on top of that, Kinzo-san had a portrait of Beatrice drawn and displayed. In other words, the lack of a visual image, which was the one weak point in the legend of Akuji Kishima, was finally completed. Since then, perhaps the two legends have been mixed together. Oh my. Well, I wonder. It is a bit confusing for an old lady such as myself. Kumasawa, I want to learn more about Kumasawa. I really do. I'm still not over the whole Virgilia thing. Kumasawa laughed to smooth it over, wiping away a cold sweat. She might have seemed confused, but she actually did understand what Erika was saying, because Kumasawa was a fucking liar! In truth, she had been vaguely aware of how the legend of Akuji Kishima, which had been around before Ushiro Miyakinzo had come to Rokkanjima, and the legend of the Golden Witch, the story of the woman who had given Kinzo a vast quantity of gold, had both transformed. She didn't want to acknowledge it, but she knew. The setting, where Beatrice hated the spirit mirror and spider webs, this had been based off the ancient legend of Akuji Kishima. That the evil spirits part of that legend had just been replaced by the Witch of the Portrait. Where's my phone? Where is my phone? I plug it in? I have no clue. Okay, I'm not gonna think about it. That candle smells really fucking good. God damn. So, if there really was someone claiming to be the Golden Witch Beatrice, I'd really like to ask her whether she actually does hate spiderwebs or not. What happens when she touches them? It is said that witches and their minions receive burns when they touch spiderwebs. So that is probably what would happen, I suppose. That's not bad. A splendid witch trial. If the spiderweb touches her and she gets burned, then she's an evil spirit, not a witch. And if nothing happens, then it just proves she's just a human. In other words, whether she's burned or not, it will prove that the Golden Witch doesn't exist. The legend of the witch is nothing more than the legend of Akuji Kishima reboiled with a new face on it. No! That's lame as fuck, Erika! You need to see and love! Well, Simply by the existence of the legend itself, this level of reasoning is possible. For Furudo Erika, somebody just needs to, like, fold her up like a football and just fucking throw her into the fucking sea from whence she came. What do you think, everyone? Though only two of them were in the lounge, Erika faced the direction of an invisible audience would have been. Hi, Erika, it's me, and shrugged. And just as Erika imagined America, the targets of her comments actually were there, listening in. Wow. Spiderwebs? They burn you if you touch them. Beato the Elder snapped her fingers. A graceful silver spider slipped down from the ceiling, hanging by a transparent thread. Afterwards, only a single silver thread remained. Timidly, Beato stretched her finger out towards the spider's string. Then she touched it. I'm fine. You are? Huh? Beato the Elder lifted up a white pale finger, and after showing it to her little sister, she traced the silver string with it. There was a stench like a single hair being burnt. Ooh, I love that. That's good writing. Once again, she held her finger up in front of Beato, who was stunned. There was a thin burn line, as though someone had traced across it with a razor. What's going on? That's what I would like to know. Why are you unharmed? I don't know. What I don't understand is why you do get burned by touching a spider web. I do not know. It has always been like that since I first gained consciousness. Then are you? Beato hesitated. However, her question was clear. No. I am not one of the evil spirits of Akuji Kishima. I am Beatrice, ruler of Rokkenjima's night. Even I do not know why I have the same weakness as this island's evil spirits of old. Because it was baked into the legend, that's why. That's the only reason why. It's because she is a synchronization of Eastern superstition and this Western, like, almost pop culture, really. I feel like this game says something about the hegemonic power of Western culture. Not even Western culture, American culture, really. In the whole world, but I would have to think about it a lot harder. Are spiderwebs the only thing you can't handle? As this Erika person said, I cannot touch the doorknob to Kinzo's study. That scorpion magic circle burns me. For me, trying to open the door to that study is like trying to pick a red-hot horseshoe out of a fire. What about you? Huh? Scorpion magic circles, you mean? The older sister snapped her fingers again. Wow, 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 wow. When she did, the surrounding scene had bent and twisted, and they had suddenly moved to a place in front of Kinzo's study. And there was the doorknob engraved with the scorpion magic circle. Those who research magic must have a refuge sealed off from both human and spiritual disturbances. It's no surprise that Kinzo chose to seal off his study and place a charm such as this here. And unfortunately, that affects me as well. She gently grasped the doorknob. Like bacon. As she did, a violent burning sound, unbelievably stronger than the one caused by the spiderweb, rang out. Oni-sama, are you okay? Your hand! Ah! Her hand had been horribly burnt, and Beato couldn't help but avert her eyes. Fear not, this scratch will heal quickly. Apparently it would heal by itself if left alone. The older sister seemed to have heal at an inhuman rate. Oh, it's like her flesh is like knitting back together. That's sick as fuck. However, it seems that you can handle it just fine. Ah. She timidly poked the doorknob. Nothing happened. Slowly, she touched it with her entire palm, but she felt nothing but a pleasantly cool sensation. Strange. Though you are my double, you are different from me in several ways. While I might be able to touch the doorknob, if I ever get burnt like you did, I don't think I'd heal that easily. It's as though you're a normal human. Yes. Even I find it a little hard to believe that I'm a witch. I can't use magic like you. I can't get strange burns or heal from them later. Father believed that I was a great witch reborn. Who is Father? But, I mean, Battler, obviously. But if we go back, I'm so obsessed with this chapter, I always look at it again and again and again. Not this one, fuck. See, here was grandfather. Ah, Pier, it's time to reread the prologue of episode 3. A lot of this shit I never fucking looked at again. Who are you? I am Beatrice. I was born for father's sake. And you, One-sama? I am also Beatrice. I used magic to give Kinzo gold and later became a soul in the formless witch that haunts this island. So this Beatrice is like, we've kind of flip-flopped. I said this last stream, I believe, or maybe the stream before that, when they first introduced Beatrice the Elder. But this Beatrice is definitely the one who is the incarnation of the world's rules. She's the suspicion in the superstition. That's the word I'm looking for, not suspicion. The superstition of all the servants of Kinzo, of everyone really given form. Well, this Beatrice is the human Beatrice now, which flip-flopped totally from what it was like at first, which I think is super fucking interesting. Just who on earth are we? Unlike me, you seem to be a being in possession of a body. Huh? Really? Yes. I thought of it while listening to that Erica person. I am a witch who can use magic but has no body. And you are a witch who has a body but can use no magic. Eventually, perhaps we will become one, each filling what the other lacks, to form the true, complete Beatrice. It seemed to make sense. Both of the Beatrices were missing something. If they became one, then they would surely be very close to the Beatrice that Battler desired. Do you want to try? Huh? Hold out your hand. The older sister slowly raised her palm and held it out before Beato. The large burn from a second ago really had started to heal already. It's not going to be this easy. It may be possible for us to become one. I want to know as well. By becoming one with you, I want to learn about my future self. Beato also raised her hand slowly, and the two hands touched. But nothing happened. Perhaps this meant that, while they were fated to become one eventually, that time had not yet come. For me, being burned by spiderwebs is perfectly normal. However, you didn't even know about that. In the same way, How did she not know about that if she read Umineko, how did she not know? Because clearly she would have seen it with the previous fucking episodes, like episode 2. In the same way, you say that the reason you were born was for your father's sake. Apparently, that father is Ushiramiya Battler. I know him as a rare guest who only comes a few times a year. But I cannot understand what connection you and I have with such an infrequent visitor. Sure, we must learn more about each other. Yeah, you're right. I get the feeling that learning about each other will lead us to something very important. On the other side lies the single future Beatrice. No, it may be correct to call her the true form we are meant to possess. With their hands still joined, the two Beatrices swore to fill in the parts the other lacked and regain their single form. Bit by bit, Beato was walking down the path that led to the former Beatrice. Like, maybe this represents, hopefully, Jessica, who hopefully is Beatrice, and I'm right. But this is like her learning about the superstition of Rokanjima and trying to, like, become that witch to fill that purpose. Umineko no Nakukoro ni Chiru, Nocturne of Truth and Illusions. That's so fucking corny. This is the corniest ass stream anyways, but... It's already almost 11 o'clock, damn. We're almost at the witching hour. Wait a minute, the witching hour? I never even fucking put that together. What is, wait. What is the witching hour? It's midnight, or is it 3 a.m.? 3 a.m. Oh, midnight to 3 a.m. Okay, I'll take it. Unfortunately, I do not know too much about Western superstition. Truly. I could hear the eerie... Oh, we're back with this guy, or whoever this is. I still have no clue how to interpret these scenes. I could hear the eerie sound of wind and rain. Once again, I lazily regained consciousness on top of the bed. The finger that the witch had bitten off was attached to my hand. That's not to say it was all an illusion, but my finger was now attached. After all, the pain and the teeth marks, as though a witch had bitten it, were still there. And yet, the window which I had supposedly smashed had been fixed as though it had never been broken in the first place. How can I escape from this creepy room? Why am I locked up in this eerie room all alone? I want to get out. I have to get out. Please, let me out. The door was sealed with a firm chain. I could open it a crack, but only enough to peek out into the corridor at best. Even getting just a fist through it would probably be hard. The window wouldn't budge either. It was no better than a barred prison window. The bathroom didn't even have a window. The only thing that could get out of there was the water that flowed out if you turned on the tap. No matter what I do, I can't think of a way out of here. How about you just break the door? Unless it's like really fucking hard wood, you might be able to try. It's like balsa and you can just fucking punch through it. Here's Johnny. Well, shut up in a place like this, I truly am a prisoner. Unless someone comes from outside to save me, I won't be able to get out for all eternity. In that case, can't I just call for help? Yes, the tiny gap I can make in that door must exist so I can call for help. But Can I make the words come out? You already tried. Earlier, I tried to call out for help, but for some reason the words couldn't escape my mouth. Maybe I was just confused. I might have lost my voice in my haste and confusion. I'll open the door and make that crack appear one more time. The warm light of the hallway flowed in, making the darkness of the room stand out all the more. Though I couldn't hear any voices, I did feel something peaceful. I'm sure everyone's in the room at the other end of the hallway, chatting happily about something. If I can just call out, surely someone will come in to save me. Holding back some indescribable fear, I tried yelling once more. Lots of ellipses, but the result was the same. It was like trying to yell underwater. All I did was get out of breath, unable to call out in the slightest. Even though I could say as much as I wanted if I grumbled to myself inside the room, whenever I tried to make my voice reach outside, I choked and was unable to say anything. I understand. My body isn't the only thing locked up in this eerie, closed room. My voice is, too. Thinking that I could use some other kind of sound to call for help, I tried opening and closing the door violently, making the chain rattle. It does sound as though it's clanking noisily, but it's surely no good. Even this sound is being locked inside this closed room. No matter how harsh a sound I make, I'm sure it will be quieter than a leaf falling by the time it reaches the other end of the corridor. I tried using the hateful chain that sealed the door to make a sound to call for someone, but that only deepened my despair. This chain? That's insane. Just a second ago, it was a stiff chain that looked like it might be used to seal a monster away, but at some point, it had transformed into a normal chain lock. This changes everything. Now I can just undo it from the inside. I tried to undo it, but the chain wasn't long enough for that while the door was still open a crack, and I couldn't get it off, obviously. Calm down. I gulped and calmly closed the door. Then, when I saw the chain had slackened enough, I touched it with my finger to make sure. When I was little, I hated chains because I could never get them undone right. However, that was a long time ago. Now I can undo something like this. Anyone could, it's easy. Clank. I imagine the demon who'd locked me in this room using this as a trap to give me hope, just to make me despair even more. I'm freaking the fuck out right now, but I pushed those thoughts aside for the time being. I undid the chain lock, and the chain dangled there right before my eyes. Now, there's no lock sealing this door. Please, don't torment me anymore, and just open normally. Slowly, the door opened. When I closed the door to undo the chain, the warm light from the hallway got cut off. If I opened it again, what if that warm light is gone this time? I was even afraid of stuff like that. However, that was just me over-imagining things. Slowly, quickly. No, I guess this is normal for a door. As the door let out an annoying creak, the exit from this cursed closed room finally opened. I'm fucking terrified. Absolutely fucking mortified right now. Ellipses! Exclamation point, exclamation point. Ellipses! Exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point. I'm gonna fucking yawn. I did it! I did it! Even my cry of joy was strangled, but that doesn't matter anymore. All that matters is that I can get out. I poked my head out and looked left and right down the corridor. The warm corridor. I could sense people having fun at the other end. Everyone's right there. Let's go, right now. Jesus fucking Christ. Yeah! At that moment, something cold and heartless crushed my throat. It was as though an iron loop had been fastened around my neck and pulled on hard from behind. No, not as though. Without my knowing, at some point, a thick metal collar had been fastened. Or how'd you not notice, dog? When did this happen? When I turned around, I despaired even more. From the inner side of the door I had just opened, a thick chain had extended. It attached itself to the collar I was wearing. I pulled on it, but it didn't even budge. When I shook it, the whole door creaked. Just fucking break the door! What the hell? The chain that connected to my collar was attached to the inner side of the door. Yes. The same vanishing chain that had secured the door at a short while back had suddenly become a chain holding me in place. But at least just, like, stand outside if you can. I'm a little confused as to what she meant. No, she only pokes her head out. That's insane. That's insane. Damn it, what's going on here? I pulled with all my strength, trying to tear the whole door off. But I already knew from repeated experiments that it wouldn't even budge. I'm sure this chain will disappear once I go back inside the room, but it'll never let me leave that room. Though it had apparently turned back into a normal chain lock, nothing had actually changed. The chain lock still bound me to that room. Tears slowing down my face, I pulled it with all I had. It was completely useless. No matter what I did, I'd never tear it loose. And I wasn't even permitted to call out for help. I felt a confused anger at how the demon had mercilessly made me think that I'd escaped for just an instant. But no matter how much I yelled, no voice came out and no one on the other end of the corridor could hear me. Then, I noticed. An odd stain on the wall in the corridor. It wasn't a stain. They were letters, traced out by a finger that had been covered in red paint. What the fuck? Those letters, which looks like they'd been drawn in blood, answered my biggest question. The chain lock must be set. You're allowed to unset it, but it must be reset. Unless it is set, this exit of yours will be unusable. I instantly understood the meaning of that ominous message. Then I tried it out and understood completely. When I returned to the room and reset the chain lock, the collar around my neck disappeared. When I undid the chain lock again, that heavy feeling around my neck returned. In other words, I cannot leave this room while the chain lock is still unset. In that case, why don't I set the chain while outside the room? I undid the chain one more time. The collar and chain appeared around my neck again. I stepped out into the corridor and closed the door behind me, leaving only the slightest of cracks. I have no fucking clue how to interpret this shit. Is it like a flashback or something? I stuck my hand through that crack, grabbed the dangling chain, and tried to reset it somehow. Damn it. Even though it was so easy to do from the inside, why is it so hard to do from the outside? The gap needed to be wide if I wanted to manipulate the chain well. However, that made the chain too short to reach. To make the chain reach just a bit further, I'd have to close the door a little bit more. Start trying to, like, file away at the door with the chain, maybe. Like a chainsaw, if you just move the chains fast enough, you can just like whittle it. That's such an awful fucking idea. If I do that, there won't even be enough of a gap to fit my head in. Of course, that was perfectly natural. Chain locks are made to be used from the inside. They'd be completely pointless if you could set and unset them from the outside. I love this track. It's so cryptic, the Necro Dancer. That's why the length of the chain is specially chosen to prevent anyone from setting or unsetting it from the outside. Then, can I use some kind of hard and thin tool? If the gap of the door is just a finger's width across, and that's more than enough for the chain to reach. Right? If I could just bend a wire hanger so that it fits through the crack and work the chain with that. That's right. There's a closet just to the side of the door. Could there be some hangers in there? Found one. Oh, thank God. A single cheap-looking hanger. Like one you might find in a laundry room was hanging there. Really? I'm pretty sure that when I last looked a short while ago, nothing like this was in the closet. Who cares? Quickly, quickly! I twisted the wire hanger, bending the end with the tip around. I formed a loop on the end to grab things with, making for a sort of burglar's tool. I then dashed out into the corridor again and closed the door almost as far as it would go. My wrist could never pass through this. Yeah, exactly. Kinzo's fucking singing his ass off. He's just fucking jamming it to the beat. However, if I close it this much, the chain should have extra length to spare. And this crack is large enough for me to stick the hanger through. Now it's just a matter of technique. If I keep trying, I'll definitely be able to do this eventually. I'm certain of it. It's harder than it looks. But the chain is long enough. It isn't impossible. I had finally gotten my hands on the one way to escape. It was hard, yes, but it was theoretically possible. If it's possible, I'll be able to get out. I'll be able to escape from here. At that moment, I felt a heavy weight on the far side of the door. It felt as though someone inside the room had pressed their forehead against the door and was drawing closer. And she, the witch, had laughed. What the fuck? What does this mean? I thought this was Beatrice for a while. I'm really fucking confused. Then I felt a powerful and strange force in the wire hanger. Is she trying to grab it away from me? Yeah, right. Like hell I'll let go. That does sound like something Jessica would say. Like hell I'll let one of my one key out of here get stolen while my guard's down. Fortunately, I'd stuck my wrist through it so it wouldn't drop if my hand got tired. You won't be able to snatch this out of my hands. Then the witch on the other side of the door laughed at me. Then I noticed something weird. I looked at my left hand, which I had pressed against the door to hold it in place, and between the fingers of that hand, I could see something red. They were red letters. I realized immediately. At some point in time, even more bloody letters have been drawn on the door. It's gonna be the red truth about like not being able to use shit like that. And my left hand had been covering them up. Still fighting against the vice-like strength of the witch beyond the door, I moved my left hand to the side. Where that had been, bloody letters had been drawn. And there were, as though someone had predicted that I'd struggle this way from the very beginning, was a message from the witch to me. It is impossible to set or unset the chain lock from the outside by any means. Yep, that's a red truth from earlier. That's an episode. That's one of the episode two what? Episode 2 red truths. All tricks done from the corridor have been sealed by the red letters. It's almost like this is Beatrice like learning how to create closed rooms in a way. No way. There was suddenly a terrible sound, and the force pulling on the hanger was suddenly released. Then, when I pulled it out and looked, I lost all hope. As though it had been hit by the acid of the room's darkness, the tip of the hanger had burnt and bubbled. My phone just fucking dropped from the side of my chair, because that's where it was, and it scared the fuck out of me. I just jumped. I do need to plug my phone in, and I actually do need to go get some more water. So I'll be right back. Give me a couple minutes. This is a good place to take a pause, because I've gone a very long time without pausing the stream. Give me like several minutes, because I need to do a couple of things. And we need to hit the mute button, which is right here. Oh, hi, Small Blue Gem. You were also another person that followed. It is a first-time chatter, so thank you for stopping in, and I'm going to go back to being right back, so give me a couple. Yeah, we have a couple new characters. We have Featherine and the two people we saw at the beginning of this episode, who I have no clue who they are. I am back, by the way, obviously. Now it's pitifully short. This can't be used for anything. It would be useless to search for a substitute. All schemes to set the chain from the outside have been prevented. Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I threw the remnants of the wire hanger against the floor, faced the hallway filled with a warm light, and called for help. However, I've just choked, unable to speak at all. Everyone's just down the corridor. Everything's peaceful there. I can't hear their voices, but I know. I'm sure they're all having a good time playing cards. Is this in the guest house? No, right? Maybe? I thought this was one of the mansion corridors. Please, someone notice. Someone save me. No, it has to be the mansion, because... I mean, the inside looks like one of the guest rooms of the mansion. These scenes are fucking me up so bad. What is Battler trying to tell me here? This time it wasn't the witch's voice. It was the happy voices of everyone else, which I could hear coming from the other side of the hallway. Someone come over here and save me. Sorry, but I'm out. George slammed his last card down, ending the game with his victory once again. Everyone gasped in unison. The cousin room was filled with laughter as they enjoyed. Fuck, maybe that is because it's the same fucking lamps. Oh, fuck, this might be in the guest house. I'm so fucking confused. Fuck, this game is absolutely fucking my brain. Okay. Whoa, so you really did have it, George Aniki. Damn you. 6 of spades. Your 8 of diamonds was pretty nasty too, Battler. I was so close. You're incredible, George Oni-chan. You won again. Yep, looks like I've won again. Maria couldn't really hold her own in an all-out battle. So she teamed up with George, which is why she was celebrating his victory. Utter defeat. Cannon winced and let his cards drop to the table. The game of sevens between Cannon and the cousins had been a fierce battle. Normally, they would take things easy since Maria was there, so this sort of game was rare. Cannon had started taking the game seriously, unwilling to lose. So George and Battler had responded, and the battle had grown fierce. Unlike Battler, who was carefree enough to enjoy it whether he won or lost, Cannon's mood changed drastically with every victory and defeat. It was less of a dislike for losing and more that he just wasn't used to playing. He wasn't used to trading a few wins and losses with his opponent. So he took even losses within a game seriously. Since he had resolved to win and had unfortunately challenged the veteran players George and Battler, the result was plain to see. As Cannon slumped his shoulders, Jessica slapped him on the back. Hey, you almost had it. I love fighting all out like this. Whether you go all out or not, if you just lose in the end, it's all pointless. No, Cannon, that's lame. That's not true. If you really gave it your all, there's no reason to get depressed when you lose. If you lost after hardly trying, then you'd be grumbling and complaining about how you would have won if you'd taken it seriously, right? That's right. People who give it their all never complain. They're always cheery no matter what the result is. I don't feel like that's true, but okay. But I do think giving it your all and being gracious in defeat are generally good things. You're right. And they could be scarier than anyone else. They always learn something from their experience and grow. Okay. Very true. I was a coward, so I could never learn anything. I see that I'm still immature. I am furniture, so any dreams I might have are pointless. Because he'd rigidly believed that, he distanced himself from everything, shutting himself away. However, during that same time, Shannon had undergone many life adventures. And now her hand was resting on the door separating furniture and humans. The old Canon would have seen this card game as a way to pass the time. However, the new Canon was now capable of gaining something new from this experience. That's probably what it means to grow. Furniture does nothing but rot with the passage of time. The ability to grow is a privilege given only to humans. Thanks for playing with us. You probably had work to do, like filling in the log, right? I'm really glad you decided to hang out with us. What's up with the log? Why are we now just being told about the log? Don't worry about it. I had a lot of fun too. Or should I say, I realized that this sort of thing is fun. Thanks for pushing so hard for me to come. Let's challenge ourselves more and more. And let's go and find more things you didn't know about. Oh. By the way, about what we were talking about earlier. That never wanted to try playing guitar? Oh, that's so sweet. I love Jessica. I want her to be Beatrice, but I do like Jessica like as she is. Well, I don't want to force you or anything, but it must be very difficult. Yeah, I guess. This is so sweet. I love this. But I'll do a good job teaching you and even practice with you. Well, I guess I'm not much of an expert myself. At first, Cannon was scared that he might make a complete fool of himself if he touched a musical instrument for the first time in his life. After all, he knew that screwing up like that would make him feel bad. However, Cannon was starting to learn. It's only natural that I'll be bad when I first start. If I try to run away from it, I'll never learn a thing for all eternity. I'll never achieve anything. That's right. Isn't that why people love it when they feel themselves improving? Even I sucked at making my left and right hands move at the same time when I first started. But I slowly got the knack of it, and started to feel more and more natural. I'd like to reach that level too. If one path to that goal is playing music with you, milady, I would love to do that with you. Aww! Really? I got the biggest shit-eating grin on my face right now. I think these two are so cute. Yes. I'm sure I'll be able to... reading is hard. I'm sure I'll be horrible when I start. And I might even make you lose hope in me at times. But if I've given it my all, even messing up is no big deal. Like, my thing personally is, like, I could never read sheet music. I was awful at reading sheet music. I was always a good player by ear. I played trombone, but I could never ever read sheet music. I was hopeless at it. That's what I learned from you all this. That's what I learned from you all just now. You're embarrassing me. I love you more than ever, milady. Aw, that's so sweet! Because I averted my eyes for so long, even though you shone like the sun, I never noticed when you were right here next to me. Then I'd better work even harder to make you love me even more. Cannon's serious and competitive words were more than enough to make Jessica shy. However, Cannon's expression unexpectedly clouded. Milady, the reason I love you is so clear. Because of that, I can't bear not knowing. Not knowing what? Why did you start to like me? Ooh, this is gonna be good. Unlike you, I don't shine in any sense. Even now, I'm just clinging to your back as you shine the way. Can't think of any reason you would love someone as shabby as me. That's not true, okay? There are all kind of good things about you, Cannon-kun. Let me swallow my pride and ask. What about me made you like me, milady? Cannon hung his head. Opposites attract, that's why. Cannon hung his head. Since he had never learned anything on his own, he had never been able to take the initiative with her in any way. The fact that he was accepting her affection one-sidedly, unable to do anything but simply receive it, made him sad and frustrated at himself. Jessica was lost for words. After all, compared to the reason that Kinzo had started to love Cannon, not Kinzo. Compared to the reason that Cannon had started to love Jessica, Jessica's reason was a lot more vague. This goes in with my theory that they might have like a totally fake relationship to begin with, but I don't want to be too sad about that right now. I just want to take this for face value. She had heard Shannon talking about her love with George, and at school she and her friends always talked about relationships with boys. There would have been nothing strange about a girl, fascinated by the idea of romance, developing an interest in a nearby member of the opposite sex. However, if you put that into words, it might be misinterpreted to mean that any nearby boy would have done just as well. However, she could still be proud of the feelings she felt at this very instant. She really did love Cannon, and she truly wanted to experience romance. As a result, they might end up together or they might not. However, if she reached that result without holding back, she could accept it no matter which it was. That's why she was able to become serious and honest about how she felt. However, she couldn't find the right words to tell Cannon this. When Cannon saw Jessica bite her lower lip in frustration, he finally realized, I'm such a fool. Huh? What about me do you like? My question is foolish. It's proof that I'm not serious about myself, and I haven't been able to understand even myself. Oh, I'm really fucking resonating with Cannon right now. My heart goes out to Cannon. Holy shit. It's horrible of me to try and make you say it for me. Oh, Cannon, I really fuck with you. That's not true. After all, it's the first question any girl would like to ask after being given a love confession. What part of me do you like? It was immature of me to ask you that. How could anyone love someone so immature? Wait, that's not... Jessica panicked, trying desperately to explain how she felt. However, Cannon was calm. And then he spoke. In that case, I want you to love me the way I already love you. I've decided to start changing myself so that can happen. Don't change yourself, Cannon. Just open up your heart a little bit. You don't need to change who you are fundamentally, my friend. I can hardly imagine that you would love me as I am. But someday, no matter what, yeah, I'm absolutely sure you'll become a wonderful person, Canon-kun. A guy so cool that I can't keep my eyes off you. And this is so weird. I'll stick by you all the way. We have plenty of time. But unfortunately, there isn't that much time left. What do you mean? It usually saddens you when I talk about furniture. However, this is something I must tell you. And it is also something that I must fight for with all my soul. What are you talking about? I don't want to hear any more of that I'm furniture, so I can't fall in love talk. You're a human, not furniture. Yes, I would like to become human. However, I am still furniture. In that case, just do it. Become human. A witch taught me once about the single element of this world. According to her, it's love. It's something that humans born into this world can take for granted. However, it is not something that those not from this world, who were born as furniture, can take for granted. In order to gain it for themselves, they must have a magic or a miracle. In just the same way that Nason and George-sama would never have ended up as they have without borrowing the power of the golden butterfly brooch. I don't really get that last part. What don't you understand? Let me hear it. Since this game began, a large portion of the time has been spent on Shannon and Cannon's determination to fall in love. I've got no problem interpreting that as a story of growth and teenage determination for a boy and girl who call themselves furniture, but one of the assumptions they make feels really out of place to me. Why is magic necessary? Is that it? Both Shannon and Cannon call themselves furniture. They've always claimed that there can't be love between furniture and humans. At that point, the magic of the gold butterfly brooch comes into play, and the miraculous result of its magic, love is established between Shannon and George Oni-chan. That's what they claim. Might it mean merely that forbidden love between people of different classes would be unmanageable without a miracle of magic? Ooh, I've said that before. True. I can accept Shannon and Cannon, who are servants in forbidden love with masters of the family and are suffering for it, might debase themselves by calling themselves furniture. Then what is it that you cannot accept? Without borrowing the power of magic, once more marriage will be impossible. That seems to be a common understanding between Shannon and Ken. Just can't. What's up with the theme of marriage this episode too? Like, this episode opened with a marriage between Erica and fucking Battler for some reason. So what's it mean right now? What's up with marriage? After meeting in secret for quite some time, George and Shannon had finally gotten engaged. Both were fully prepared for it emotionally. And though there would be some possible trouble with the relatives, it would probably be impossible for anyone to prevent their marriage by this point. Trying to stand between two who wish to be wed. Is as foolish as standing in front of an arrow and trying to catch it. Exactly. Now that George Oni-chan has sworn to protect his lover for the rest of their lives, he has no need to fear opposition and disinheritance from his parents. On the contrary, you might even consider that a perfect test of his love for her. In other words, they will be married, no matter what. No one can stop them. And they've both consented to the engagement. I want to hear their voices quickly, because I kind of wonder if I've ever even heard Angie's voice. このバカが。
誰にも拒めない、阻めない。馬に蹴られてなんとやらであるな。そう。だから不思議なの。
Okay. Yeah, and that's what's strange. There's no need for magic. If George and Shannon wanted Ava's approval for their engagement, then magic might really have been necessary. After all, Ava had forbidden his relationship with her. No matter how much George spoke on Shannon's behalf, the chances of Ava being convinced were very near zero. If that were the case, it would be understandable if they wanted a magical miracle to make Ava acknowledge that engagement. However, George Oni-chan has already made an oath. He doesn't care whether his parents approve of the engagement or not. Yeah, there's nothing standing in the way of their engagement, and Shannon should know that well herself. So why is it that now, on this night, where the proposal went so smoothly, she's still praying for a miracle of magic? According to the furniture, she won't even have the right to marry without such a miracle. There you go. It means that Shannon has accepted George's proposal. But she knows that there's still some kind of barrier that can't be overcome without a magical miracle. What is that? And that barrier isn't something that they can overcome by their own efforts. That's why they need this miracle called magic. Why do they need magic? If two people love each other, what other miracle could they possibly need to be together? I see. Feathery listened to Angie's interpretation, smiling in a satisfied way. Apparently, she had already reached that conclusion and enjoyed watching Angie finally manage to do the same. And that same question applies to Canon as well. A love between him and Jessica Chan has just begun, but their emotions are pure. There's nothing standing in their way. They're already in a loving relationship even without the golden butterfly brooch. The relationship they've started might easily last for years, eventually resulting in marriage. There's nothing standing in their way either. As long as they don't seek approval from Krause and Natsui, it seems they will not need a magical miracle either. Exactly. Canon watched how Shannon lived and changed his own way of life. Then, he let his true feelings be known and started a relationship with Jessica One-chan. There's no need for magic anymore. If it were a one-sided love, then he might need a love charm or something. But their feelings are already mutual. They've already communicated their intentions to one another. So why do they still need a magical miracle? Both furniture were in relationships of mutual love. There shouldn't have been any need for a miracle any longer, so why do they still desire some miracle? And on top of that, the single brooch was portrayed as bestowing only a single miracle. It felt almost as though Shannon was hesitating, because if she used up that miracle for herself, Cannon's chances at love would be automatically sealed away for eternity. So this is the question. Why is furniture not allowed to love? Hello, notes. So, you ask why love will not be permitted without the miracle known as magic. And also, Though the furniture laments with such certainty that they're unable to love, this golden butterfly brooch is supposed to give them permission to do it. Just what on earth is it? Of course, it is a crystallization of magic. However, like most magics, it can't be burnt by the anti-magic toxin. So it can only have an effect for those who believe in magic and witches. Correct. So Shannon, who was capable of interacting with me, was able to make use of its benefits. However, as Shannon had dropped it on a sandy beach and someone who knew nothing picked it up, if that person was shrouded in the anti-magic toxin, they wouldn't be able to make use of the brooch's magic power. Precisely. A witch's magical items often lose their power if they are not handed over directly. However, just as how a witch can manifest herself if her existence is acknowledged by a great many humans and the anti-magic toxin disappears, the power of that magical item can also be preserved if it is believed by a great many humans. That's ironic. No matter what kind of magic we witches give out, everything depends on whether the humans we give it to can accept it. I have heard the same goes for medicine. Even with the exact same medicine, humans who know of the medicine's effects experience it to a greater degree. Oh, I think I understand. When taking cold medicine, I've got the feeling that it's more effective when you... This is the second time they've mentioned this, and the first time they did is like all the way back in episode 1. Which is fucking crazy. I've gotten the feeling that it's more effective when you read the description on the bottle. As she listened, Beato thought that magic sounded a bit like a ritual. When most humans think of magic, they think of incredible miracles being performed one after another in front of a crowd of other humans. However, this true magic that the older sister spoke of sounded almost like a ritual, something that has no effect if the person using it doesn't believe. Shannon's heart was captured by George bit by bit as she grew leaps and bounds. However, she had given up, thinking that one of a different class such as herself would never find love with him. That was when Beatrice had given her the golden butterfly brooch and encouraged her. Giving up means that you've got 0 chances of success. However, if the magic power you think there makes you think there might be some chance of your wish coming true, the odds of it happening are at least greater than 0. 0 remains 0 forever, so miracle is a fitting word to describe even a faint chance of coming into existence, bringing 1 from 0. That's Maria's whole thing, is bringing 1 from 0. Humans can use the defeat magic to defeat resignation. I have to plug in my phone. I forgot to plug in my phone. I'm not even going on mute. I'm just getting up and walking. Yay. My shit is at 12%. And one odd quirk about me is I don't keep a phone charger at my desk. I don't really know how to explain why I don't. I just don't. Humans can use magic to defeat resignation, the process by which they themselves make their probability of success 0. When a human refuses to give up, though their chances of success may be small, those chances do exist. And the more determined they become, the greater those odds rise. It was easy to imagine Shannon making earnest wishes upon that brooch, believing in its effect, and trying little things over and over again to get George to like her. The power of belief becomes magic. And those who make others believe are witches. Those who make others believe are witches. That's going in the notes. If you think about it, it is true. Let's say a witch steps out into a spotlight and waves her staff in front of a crowd of onlookers and makes a rabbit appear out of thin air. The many people who see it will surely assume it to be a sleight of hand. They might wonder how it was accomplished, but they'll surely say that it couldn't have been real magic. And then, when they applaud, it will be for a splendid trick that only appeared to be magic. But what if someone performed a sacred ceremony inside a great ancient temple in front of a crowd of believers and ended up with the exact same result? Would any people there think it was a sleight of hand? No, because they've been primed to believe that. In fact, in the ancient past, when magic tricks as a form of entertainment didn't even exist and divine spirits were worshipped, this would doubtlessly have been a miracle of magic. In that case, could this here be magic? Aha! Well now, what will be the first spell performed by the witch unable to use magic? Here I have an empty teacup. There is nothing beside it. Yes, it is empty. And then, you take it, turn it like this, and place it upside down on the table. And then, what next? Let's both close our eyes and chant the incantation. It was the same magic that had been used to give Maria candies. Beato the Elder grinned and closed her eyes. When she saw this, Beato slowly chanted the incantation. Come, try to remember. What was inside this cup? Indeed. Come, try to remember. What was inside the cup? As she chanted, Beato slowly opened her eyes and made sure that the older sister was repeating her with her eyes closed. Then, a single gold butterfly appeared out of nowhere, fluttered down onto the overturned cup, and scattered away in a golden splash. What the fuck? May I open my eyes now? Yes. Please open your eyes and inspect the contents of the cup. Well now, let us see how well your first bit of magic has performed. Taking her time and dragging out the suspense a little, the older sister lifted up the cup. Aha! How is it? We have a theme here of, like, characters learning. Like, we have Canon who's learning how to be more human by willing to accept that he can lose. We have Beatrice relearning her magic in a way. We have Battler learning to be a game master, arguably. That's an interesting motif we have going in this episode. When the cup was lifted up, there lay a single golden rose petal. Does this count as magic? Yes, it does. Yellow Truth, it's back! You used magic to create a golden flower petal inside an overturned cup. It was a splendid bit of magic. Rib theory fans are going crazy. Without love, it cannot be seen. How much I understand. It may be viewed as a trick. It may also be viewed as to be magic. It all depends upon the toxin of the individual. Then again, while this can explain some of the magic that's been used in the past, it can't explain everything. Yeah. I always fuck it up when I call it rib theory. It really should be RGB theory. I fucked up. I think that time it even looked more gold than it did before. I think I get fucked up because... Hold up, I could have just looked at it there. This yellow to me is... This is more of a yellow to me. That's kind of how it got started. To get back to the point, all this stuff about believing in magic and rituals doesn't answer the question. What was this golden butterfly brooch? Which allowed the furniture, who strongly believed that they could not love, to finally find love. If we blindly accept the story of those two Beatos as true, might we assume that magic had the power to cancel out their feelings of resignation? Why mustn't furniture fall in love? Why is the power of the magic brooch necessary? Yes, it does seem at a glance as though what you and the Beatos are saying provides an answer. Though if it's almost like maybe Kinzo brought in these orphans so he could condition them to believe in magic. If you think about it, that would make a lot of sense. Then maybe wearing the one-winged eagle signifies your openness to accepting magic. Because all these people wearing it have been primed to understand it. Genji, Shannon, Canon, everybody here was raised, well, not maybe Goda, or Genji rather, not Goda, have been raised to understand the myth of the witch. Ooh, this is such a good theory. And in that way, they're kind of owned by Beatrice in a way. However, let me say this as a reader. I can't accept this as you've presented it. You cannot accept it, you say? The tragedy those furniture are struggling to resist is way too big to be explained away by that. I doubt that they could reform their ways of thinking just because they were given some charm for making relationships. It's true that the brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to get together with George Oni-chan, but sometime after that, she said she wanted to deepen their relationship without borrowing the power of magic, and she even tried to give the brooch back to Beato. At that point, she supposedly rejected the miracle of magic for a time. So why would that power be necessary again? Well, no. Perhaps there is no way to say it except that love and marriage are very different things. Featherine laughed lightly. She had probably formed a theory of her own and was laughing at Angie, who hadn't reached it yet. Let me hear it. What's your view? I'd like to keep that to myself for just a while longer. And of course, watching you form doubts and let your mind race is one of the joys of being able to read too. It's like I'm fucking Angie, and everybody who's fucking watching my stream who's played this game before is fucking Featherine. Except half the time you guys are fucking with me. If I gave you my views, you would accept them and stop thinking. Then having you read aloud would be no fun. And that's why you guys all fuck with me. Because every time I get too close to the truth, it's over. So you're having me read a mystery novel you already know the answer to just so you can enjoy watching me blunder about? This is such a call out. Well, I am the Witch of Theater going. If you wish to laugh at my bad taste, please do not hold back, my Miko. I understand that part of magic is created by a believing heart. and that magic probably permeates deep into the world of us humans as well. However, though it permeates so far, the power that dwells within magic is small. Lots of people visit shrines to pray for success on tests. However, people rarely credit such a visit as the reason for their success. By itself, praying does little more than give one peace of mind. In love, where even a small chance and a little bit of courage can result in major changes, this power can sometimes bring about incredible transformations. However, would something like that really be enough to change the insurmountable fate of furniture? In the past, when Shannon and George were brought together, I imagined that the brooch's magical power functioned as a little more than a ritualistic charm. However, by now, the magical power that the furniture seek from that brooch, it's not something as vague as a ritual. It feels much stronger, like a whole different interpretation of magic. If you believe in a sleight of hand, it becomes magic. But it's no more than a child's trick. And that only explains one part of magic. Mahu. They're hoping for something with much, much more power. For true magic, not a sleight of hand. So then, just what kind of magic is the furniture expecting from that brooch? Also, there's a reoccurring theme of fixing things that are broken. And that kind of ties in with endlessness too, which is another theme in this game. The brooch is broken, it's being put together, putting the vase back together, bringing back the characters and killing them over and over again. That's such a reoccurring theme in this game. The fact that the one that I got, I'm kind of obsessed that I came up with the other stream. I think it was 2 streams ago. It was that there's 8 episodes and that's the shape of an infinity symbol. Like, that really fucks with me. Golden butterfly brooch. There exists a magic charm that the golden witch Beatrice gave to Shannon in exchange for smashing a mirror. And the witch made her love bear fruit. That's what this is. From his pocket, Cannon pulled out a single wing from a gold butterfly. Though it was a single wing, it was easy to tell that from its shape, it had originally been part of something with a butterfly motif. The magic of this brooch gave Shannon the chance she needed to start her relationship with George-sama. However, before that magic was fully realized, she left it to me. So, thanks to the power of this brooch, I gained your affection, milady. That's not true. I started liking you because of my own honest feelings. Thank you very much. You are human, so do not believe in magic or witches. It's only natural. So you do not believe in witches or magic. However, as furniture created by magic, my very existence here is proof the miracle of magic exists. Sorry, what are you talking about? Jessica tried to make sense of Cannon's words. However, she couldn't understand and had asked him to repeat it, wearing a stiff smile. Both Shannon and I need magic to succeed in love. The key for that is this brooch. I stepped on it and crushed it, so we each have one part now. The brooch had lost its power when I split it in half. However, if it was ever joined together again, its magic would be revived. Oh, this is so fucking thematic. It's really fucking with me. It would revive the miraculous power that could join furniture and human together. And Beatrice calls herself furniture before. Oh my god, it's just... Oh, I need to fucking put this game together. I'm so close. However, a single brooch can only grant one person's wish. Only one of us furniture can be joined by this single brooch. That was the final seed of love, a spark of love, which the old, shrilly laughing Beatrice had sown. The old Beatrice had said that humans tormented by this spark were like ripe fruit, which she crudely used for her own enjoyment. However, the magic infused within this seed was real. It was the only crystallization of magic that the Golden Witch Beatrice ever left in this world. Its glint increased. What the fuck? Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Huh? What the? It's okay. But please don't look right at it. It'll blind you. Ah! The glint grew even stronger, shining like the sun. Even without Cannon's warning, Jessica wouldn't have been able to stop herself from covering her eyes with her hands. What the fuck is going on? Oh god, I just squinted my own eyes. As the light grew stronger, a sound like the roar of the wind or the tide also grew intense in intensity. The sound of the wind and rain outside had already been overwhelmed. However, Jessica could no longer even stand, and she crouched on the floor, a flood of sound and light. Until it withdrew, Jessica could do nothing but moan. What's that quote? All right, well, that is a good place to stop for today's stream. There's a very, very, very small chance that I might be back Friday for a special Friday stream because I have no work Friday. And my friends aren't on till 10. So I'm not streaming tomorrow because I'm going to be watching the Game Awards with my friends because I want to laugh my ass off. But elsewise, just be aware there's a very, 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 very slight chance that I might stream Friday. No promises. I'd never promise anything. I don't believe in schedules. I'm a very unscheduled person. I'm very spontaneous. So you should always expect that from me. But elsewise, this has been a super fun stream, and I really like where the plot's been going recently. And I will see you guys maybe Friday. If not, probably either Sunday or Monday like I normally do. All right. Well, I will see you guys then. Goodbye. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah, yada, blah, blah, blah. See ya.